Right, it's time to fight back against the bullies in our lives. We're helping you combat the bullies at the office first. So let's welcome Mattice, author of Back Off, your kick-ass guide to ending bullying at work. Welcome to Primetime.
Thank you so much.
So you wrote this, how long ago did you write this book, Catherine?
It came out in October of last year.
So it's available for viewers, readers, the UT?
Yeah.
Right now, okay.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to write this book?
A couple things. So I used to work at a nonprofit organization here in San Diego, and I was the HR manager there and dealt with someone who was basically a bully.
To you?
He bullied me.
Someone bullied the HR
Yes,
person?
yes,
Is that right?
Yeah, so he bullied me, and he bullied a lot of the people in his own department, and so I dealt with the situation as an HR manager and also as a target. And so I wrote the book because I became very interested in the topic. I ended up doing a lot of my research in grad school on this topic, and I found that out there on the media, if you look up workplace bullying, you find a lot of stuff that really victimizes the target, and they say things like it's not your fault and the bully is a psychopath and all this stuff. And I really wanted people to know that they do have choices, and there's things you can do to change your situation.
Okay, so you have tips for us. What are they?
Yeah, well, some of the tips in the book, the first thing is that you have to make the decision that this isn't going to happen anymore. So that's the first step. You have to come to this resolution that even if you can't change this person, you can change the way that you're dealing with it. So that's step one. Also being aware.
Well, give us an example. So not absorbing their negative energy, I would say, right?
That would be one.
Have healthy boundaries.
Yeah, yeah. So, instead of talking about the bullying with yourself and with your family and friends when you get home from work, you could go home and say, this person's bullying me, I don't have control, I feel powerless. Or you can go home and say, you know what, I'm not going to let this person treat me this way anymore. I am going to stand up for myself. So it's about the way that you talk to yourself and others about it.
Right, and don't be the victim and whine about it. Do something about it.
Yeah,
okay, what's the second tip?
So another tip would be just kind of being aware of the way that you communicate. So if you're feeling afraid of someone in your workplace, you're probably kind of, when you're going around the workplace, you're hovering down, you look fearful because you are fearful. So being aware of your body language, standing up straight, toes pointed forward, eye contact,
I need to do that.
Yeah. so that you're doing things with your body that you're, where you're saying, I am not afraid of you. I'm going to start standing up for myself. So that would be another tip. Also, documenting all of the behavior that's going on so that if you need to make a complaint to HR, you have documentation. So hang on to those emails, hang on to any evidence that you get. Also maybe keeping a journal where, every time a bullying incident happens, you write down who, what, when, where, why, what was said, all that kind of stuff, so that you have something that you can make a complaint with if you need to.
So I love that. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and finish this conversation. All right, we're back with Mattice, author of Back Off, your kick-ass guide to ending bullying at work, and she's given us these great tips for anybody who feels like they're being bullied at work. And there are also tips that you could generalize into all areas of your life, having healthy boundaries, standing up for yourself. Now let's talk about, kind of reiterate real quickly what the first two tips are for people just tuning in.
So first is to make the choice that you're not going to be bullied anymore. Don't allow yourself to feel like a victim. The second was to document, make sure that you're keeping track of the bullying, and also we talked about
That's okay. I have brain farts all the time.
I totally did. We also talked about nonverbal communication and making sure that you're looking like you're not a victim anymore. Yeah. And I had one other tip that I wanted to make sure.
Straight, toes forward. Stand with confidence.
Yeah. So one other tip I wanted to share too is say something to that person. So if you're feeling bullied, they maybe not realize exactly how damaging their behavior is.
True.
So
some people react or talking with, they don't even know how it sounds. They don't get it. They're too in the moment and they don't see how they're coming off.
Yeah.
And there are people out there who love to be victims, and they'll exaggerate a situation so they can feel sorry for themselves.
Yes.
And have other, and it stops them from looking at their real picture, like, are they really doing their job? Are they really, you know, giving it their best? Like, why is this person frustrated with them to begin with?
Right.
So there are different scenarios, right?
Yeah, I think, you know, we learn how to be as we grow up, and we learn from our experiences. So sometimes we kind of learn to bully. We learn that works for us, and then you go through life being a bully, or you learn that being a victim and sort of helpless works for you, and so you kind of become that person.
Patterns that can be broken because we're smart human beings, right?
Right.
First of all, it's identifying it, having healthy boundaries, and and then let's give a scenario real quick about how they would address the person, whether it's the secretary, your coworker, your boss, whatever. How would they address them? Because you have to be diplomatic. You have to treat others the way you want to be treated, right?
Yes.
So you have a pushing point, a breaking point, boundaries. Give us an example of how somebody would handle that.
You know, I say that there's 3 steps to assertiveness. So the first is to validate that person. So you have to validate them so that they're going to listen to you. So I'm not saying agree with them, but say something like, you know, I understand that you're really frustrated. The second step is to tell them what the problem is. So I understand that you're really frustrated, but the problem is that when you yell at me like that, I'm not hearing you, or I'm not understanding the instructions. And then you offer a solution. So then you say, you know, so in the future, if you could speak with me, you know, more professionally, then I think we have a better work.
And that's good. And I'll say, even saying, hey, that hurts my feelings. That hurts me, and it makes me feel bad. Do you want to hurt me? You know, let's figure out another way we can communicate and work together where nobody's getting hurt.
Yeah, that's a great point too. I think the big thing is you have to offer them a solution. You can't just say, I don't like it when you do this, or it hurts my feelings. If you say that, you also have to say, I need you to talk to me this way, or, you know, this is what I need from you, so that it's they understand what your needs are.
Yeah. Complicated, very complicated world we live in, but we can all get along. Let's just all get along.
Well, the book has 105 tools in it, so there's a whole lot to be discussed.
Can we use this in marriage? Just kidding.
Perhaps.
Thank you so much for joining us on Prime Time.